Hi everyone, and welcome to our third video in our Revision at Fram series. So far, we've covered organising our content and how to rag content, and how that can help us put together a study plan to make the best use of our time. For those of you who may not have seen it yet, here's a copy of the study planner. You can get a physical copy from either Mr. Highland or Mr. Keats if you need a new one, or you want one with the correct dates on the back page. When planning your revision time, it is important to take into account everything else going on in your life at the same time. This might be sports or music that you like to do outside of school, or keeping up to date with homework or art coursework or anything else that you have to do. We know it can sometimes feel overwhelming, so planning in time to relax and socialise with friends and family is important too. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about looking after yourself and give you some tips as to how it's best to do that. So, in today's video, we're going to focus on how best to approach subject we've identified as red in our ragging process. With these red areas, we need to have a think about how best we can relearn this material to help it stick better the second time around. You must re-engage with the content and try to learn it once again, because you can't move on to the next stage if it hasn't been learned in the first place. So a key part of relearning material is ensuring that you're involved in some form of active revision. This means organising and using information, forcing your brain to work rather than passively rereading notes, which doesn't engage your brain very much. So here are 4 different things which we can do if we need to relearn material. Firstly, revision guides. They are really useful tools. What we need to do is go through them and pick out that key information. Simplifying your notes will make you actively engage with the content and help to reinforce that key information. You might use those revision guides to produce your own flashcards, cue cards, or sticky notes. As you condense a set of notes, try and reduce any detailed explanation so you're left with only the key information. And if you can't remember the detailed explanation when you come to test yourself, you can always look back at your full notes or look back in the revision guide later on. If you're at home and there's not someone around there to help you explain a new concept or something you get stuck on, then why not have a look at a video or a podcast? There are plenty of videos available on YouTube that are going to explain all the key concepts that you need. One of the key things we need to bear in mind though when we're searching for videos or podcasts is that we're using the right keywords in our search to make sure we get the right videos. Have you specified what examples you want? Have you specified what topic, which subject area, and really try to make sure that you find the right thing relevant for you. What you might have to learn for an EdXL course could be very different for an AQA course, so please check to make sure you're watching the right videos or listening to the right podcasts. Same thing goes for websites. BBC Bitesize is a fantastic source of material. Make sure you're picking the right stuff and it's related to the exams that you are going to be tested on. All your teachers should have given you some form of checklist and you should hopefully know what exam board you're sitting. If not, speak to them straight away. The whole purpose of relearning content and engaging and looking at the revision guides, videos, websites and podcasts is to help fill in those gaps. You've already identified that there's something that you're struggling with and make sure you're focusing on those key parts in the revision guide and in the videos. There's no point watching a video about something you already know or using a revision guide to reread something which you know you can get every single time. Make sure we're focusing specifically on those things we're not sure about. Now, there's one key tool on here that we've not put, and that's your teachers. Many of our teachers are running revision sessions, so be sure to ask them when they will be on. And also remember, you have lessons. Those are great opportunities to ask questions, bounce ideas off your peers, and hear an explanation of a key concept from an expert. Use your teachers, talk to them, ask them questions. They want to help. You also have access to your exercise books and notes you've made throughout the year. But just be careful with this. Make sure you're not reinforcing a misconception or that you've not made a mistake when you've written something down earlier on in the year. Double check it against a reliable source, such as your revision guide, a textbook, or ask your teachers if you're really not sure to. Once we've relearnt that content, we can then engage in the next step in the process, which is retrieval. And Mr. Keats will be talking about that in the next video. Now, exams can be stressful, and during the revision period, it's important that you look after yourself. So to help you avoid becoming too tired, stressed, and overworked, here are a few suggestions. Firstly, look after your body. Now, what we mean by that is make sure you're getting enough sleep and try and make sure you get yourself into a good routine. Going to bed around the same time and set an alarm for the next morning is going to help you create that consistent sleep routine. Try not to work too late into the evenings and try and do something relaxing before bed and make sure you're not staring at a screen the whole time. Try and make sure you're eating a balanced diet. Avoid skipping meals so you have enough energy for the revision and you can stay healthy. It's also important that you stay hydrated, so drink water regularly as well. Schedule breaks. So throughout the day, it's important that you do have times to have that break. If you schedule those in, it will help you feel less overwhelmed and actually give you that chance to improve your productivity. Use your breaks to relax, do something you enjoy, either on your own or with friends, go outside, exercise, which is any way of helping clearing your head and just taking that moment to pause. Get into the flow. What we mean by this is you want to get yourself into a focused state where you're so absorbed in a task and activity that all the distractions just seem to melt away and time will pass really quickly. You might have had something happen like this before when you've been exercising or doing something creative. If you can get yourself into that state, it turns something that was potentially stressful into a more positive experience, and it can give you that sense of control over your work and help improve your overall well-being. You can do this by limiting your distractions, find a quiet place to study, keep your phone on silent, and turn off social media. Spotting the signs of stress. So you will be stressed at some point during your revision. That's perfectly normal. But too much stress can have a negative impact on your health and your revision process. So making sure we're aware of what those signs are can help us spot them, and we can support not only ourselves but our friends too. So keep an eye out for a loss of appetite, withdrawing from other people, feeling anxious, having difficulty concentrating, feeling more emotional than usual, or struggling to sleep. These are all really common signs, and if you can be aware of them, keep an eye at them for yourself and your friends, we can be there and support each other. This ties into being mindful of your mental health. We need to make sure we're focusing on the positives. What's gone well that day? What thing have you now got that you didn't get before? Acknowledging that progress you've made can really help you stay motivated. It can be really helpful to talk to people. If you're ever feeling too stressed, remember you're not alone. Everyone has felt the same way at some point. So it might be that you want to talk to your friends, your family, or your teachers, but there'll always be someone there to speak to. So thank you for listening to this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please see either myself or Mr. Keats, and we'll be happy to help. Good luck.